In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the rear sway bar kit, which includes the sway bar bushings, and the rear links on a Jeep Wrangler. So I'm going to start with undoing the top of the sway bar link, and that is a 19mm or a 3/4 socket right up there. So there we go. Get that link out of the way. Once I get the rear sway bar on the ground, that's when I'll remove the links because I need to reuse the hardware. So now I'm going to move on to the sway bar bushing, which are 2 mounting bolts right here in this metal bracket. These are 15mm socket. I'm going to use an air tool. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Top of the sway bar mount and then the bracket. I just grab that, lift it, pull it out like that. Now I'm going to hold on to this sway bar because these bolts are going to be the last thing holding it. And now we're just going to guide it right down and right out. So I'm going to remove the bolt on the lower link to the rod, the sway bar rod. So I have a 19mm socket and a 15mm wrench. We have to reuse this hardware, so that goes to the bottom and this goes to the top. So all I did was put some pressure down on that and let the air do its job. Now we're going to do the same to the other side. Let's take that off. We know that's the bottom bolt, and the top's going to do the same thing as the other one. So we're going to install the bushings first, and whenever you do any control arm bushings, whether it's front or rear, always add some silicone paste, like a dielectric grease, anything on the actual bushing, on the inside of the rubber. This will stop it from wearing out the steel as it dries, and it keeps it into a flexible type of state. So we're going to just take it and slide it right over the bar. So I actually have a hose expander that I'm going to put in there. You can use a pry bar, anything. You just want to get it started, then lift it up and pop it on. I like to keep note of how the bracket was. So I'm looking at the old one, half moon, and the angle was on the outside. I'm going to do the same to this side. That's the top bolt. I'm going to put that silicone right on there because it's pretty rusty. You could put like a never sees on there. This is just basically keeps that insulated. So we know that that's going to go up in the air, and this one's going to go down here. Put the same right on there. Slide it right through. Put the bolt through. Put the nut on. Going to do the same to the other side, then we're going to torque it. So 15mm wrench on that nut and 19 socket on the head of the bolt. I'm just going to snug it before I torque it. And the torque is 40 foot-pounds. I'm going to grab my sway bar assembly and I'm going to swing it around. Put it over the rear diff. Like so. I'm going to bring my sway bars down. And I can turn these brackets and let's line up one side at a time. The kit comes with new bolts, which is really sweet. So let's line up this side. There we go. Put the top one in. It's the 15mm socket, and I'm just going to snug it up. Now I'm putting the passenger side in. Start by hand. $50mm socket, 40 foot-pounds. So now I'm going to grab the sway bar, lift it up. Put the bolt in. And then put the nut with the tin on it, self-centering nut. Start it by hand. I'm just using a pole jack just to bring the suspension up a little bit so I can get that link to really line up. Some people will tell you on some suspensions you need to have it on the ground level before you tighten the sway bar links or bushings. This particular vehicle, the bolts are free floating inside the bushings, so it will have nothing to do with leveling. Make sure you start it by hand. Now with my 19mm socket, I'm going to snug it up. Do this. So the torque specs for this side, all bolts basically for this rear sway bar, bracket, bushing, and links is 40 foot-pounds. 19mm socket. Now you can remove the pole jack that helped you lift that differential and lower your vehicle to the ground. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.